Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. At UFC 271, in the featured fight on the main card, you had Derek Brunson versus Cannonier in a potential #1 contender fight for the middleweight division. And something happened within this fight that had no bearing on the actual outcome of the fight, but I thought it was something that should be talked about much more than it is. I haven't really heard anyone talking about it, and I think it's something that should be applauded, and it's something that I really hope happens more within MMA and is more universally accepted in MMA in the future, because I believe it would make the sport much better. Now, for those of you who have not seen Derek Brunson versus Cannonier, Derek Brunson had a great first round with his grappling, able to take Cannonier down, control him, and even at the end of the round, able to almost lock in a rear naked choke. Unfortunately for him, round one ends. They go back to their corners. Round two happens. And within a clinch position on an exit, Derek Brunson gets clipped with a nasty elbow and then a back fist from Cannonier, who has nasty power. And you can see right away Derek Brunson is out on his feet. I saw it live as well as in the replay. And after that combination from Cannonier, Derek Brunson was not there anymore. Eventually, Cannonier hunts him down looking for the finish. Derek Brunson shoots on a very sloppy takedown. He's easily reversed. And then Cannonier lays down some of the most brutal elbows I've ever seen. I have not seen this brutal of fight-finishing elbows since Yoel Romero versus Lyoto Machida. Go look up that finish if you haven't seen it. And eventually the ref steps in and stops the fight after 3 or 4 elbows. And this stoppage was a tad late. It could have been, 2 elbows earlier. I get, that the ref wasn't going to stop it just because he ate 2 strikes on the feet and was out on his feet. But once they went to the ground and the first elbow, you could have clearly stopped the fight. Wasn't the most egregious stoppage I ever seen, but it is what it is. What I wanted to talk about and what was so rare is, while this was all going on, the ground and pound sequence, Derek Brunson's corner threw in the towel, which for those of you who don't know, which I don't know if this is very many of you who don't know this, they are asking the referee to stop the fight when they throw in the towel. Now, this is very rare in MMA, and all the time that I've been watching the sport the last 10, 11 years, I have not seen this happen. And if I have, it was so long ago that I forgot. And I think this was really awesome to see because the referee is supposed to take care of the fighter. They're supposed to guarantee the fighters, safety per se in a fight, make sure they don't take any unnecessary damage. Once the fight's over, it's supposed to be over. They're not supposed to take significant damage when they basically have no chance of winning a fight. But you very rarely see a corner step in and stop it or stop it in between rounds. It's so rare. And the referees sometimes make mistakes. More often than not, there is some terrible stoppages, and some real quick terrible stoppages I wanted to talk about. Herb Dean had a arrestable stoppage. I believe this stoppage was so bad that I would have had no problem with Herb Dean being thrown in jail. The CB Dalloway stoppage against Khalid, I cannot pronounce his last name. It's a Russian fighter from a couple years ago. And CB Dalloway was curled into a ball, just getting pounded on for probably 3 to 4 minutes. If you have not seen that, it's hard to find, but one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen. Herb Dean let it go all the way to the end of the round, and then when CB Dalloway's dead body laid there, Herb said, "You got to get up or I'm going to stop the fight." And he stopped it in between rounds because CB Dalloway didn't get up. CB Dalloway actually came out after the fact and complained that the ref did not protect him, which is very rare after a late stoppage. You see a fighter who was on the receiving end of the late stoppage complain about the ref. And I know refs are scared about early stoppages, but that was absolutely egregious. Another one I wanted to talk about was Valentina Shevchenko versus Priscilla from a few years ago. Valentina was just beating the crap out of her. And I don't remember which referee it was, but it should have been stopped. And also, in both these fights, I wish the corner would have thrown in the towel as well. They should have stopped it and protected their fighter, lived to fight another day, rather than taking career-altering damage. And 2 more examples I wanted to give you guys. Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold, another Herb Dean stoppage here, was in full mount, just bashing his brains in for minutes before Herb finally stopped the fight. Let it go on to another round. Same thing happened over again. Finally stops it. But not only should Herb have stopped the fight, the corner should have thrown in the towel in this fight. And one last one, Cain Velasquez Jr. Dos Santos 2 should have happened in that fight as well. And I really believe the damage that Junior Dos Santos took in the second and third fight against Cain Velasquez was career altering. And that's what really sucks about these fights sometimes, because there can be guys who are kind of up and coming, or maybe on the top of their level at the time, that take so much damage that they fall off a cliff afterwards because for whatever reason. And it's just egregious. And I think the referee is the first mechanism of safety for a fighter to protect them from taking unnecessary damage. If the ref is not going to do their job, then the corner should do it for them. The corner should step in, whether that means throwing in the towel or stopping the fight in between rounds. Why send your fighter out there to take more damage when you know there's almost no chance of them winning and they're just going to take more damage? It's just ridiculous. And it's kind of stigmatized in MMA. Very rarely do corners ever do this. I've never seen it happen. Maybe I've missed it. Maybe I forgot about it from 9 years ago. But it's very rare that it ever happened. And even though the stoppage from Derek Brunson's corner really didn't have an effect on the outcome because the referee ended up stopping it right around that time anyway, I think it was amazing that his corner thought enough to say, you know what? We want him to live to fight another day. And ironically, he's going to be retiring soon. But either way, they did not want him taking unnecessary damage in this fight, and they threw in the towel. And I really wish more MMA coaches would do this. I just really wish it would happen. There's too many referee egregious errors where they're just letting fighters get pounded on. And it's career-altering beatings. It happens all the time. These were only a couple examples of what I could come up with where I just remember it being so egregious. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Should more corners be throwing in the towels and stopping the fights in between rounds for particularly bad one-sided fights? Or am I crazy? Also, let me know of any crazy bad stoppages that you guys remember from the past, just being particularly egregious. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like the video.